students, how are you all? Today we are going to have a class about the democracy. Let's see how democracy works, what democracy says, what is the meaning of democracy. We are going to study in this chapter 2, political science, what is democracy and why democracy. I would like to know, what do you understand by democracy? What do you think? Is democracy a form of government where the rulers are elected by the people or something else? Since you all know, we are living in a largest democratic country of the world, that is India. And today we are going to study how our country works under the rule of democracy, under the government which is known as democracy. So we are going to begin about democracy features, merit, demerits, functions of democracy and everything. Shall we begin now? Okay. Democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Yes, it is a government where everybody has been given the fair chance to choose their representatives with the help of universal adult franchise. In our democracy, the final decision-making power must rest with those elected by the people. This is the only government where we must say have absolutely fair chances of choosing their representatives. It is based on a free and fair election where those currently in power have fair chance of losing. Since you all know, we are having upcoming elections in the year 2019 for our would-be Prime Minister, and everybody is going to make sure whomsoever they are casting their vote has to be absolutely fair and based on the choice of the candidate. So here in democracy you can say every person has a right to have free and fair chance to choose their representative by contesting elections, by participating in elections, and by casting their precious vote. And of course, we have a concept here, one person, one vote should have one value. It means that if any celebrity is here, it means if any industrialist is there, doesn't mean that his vote is considered equally to 10 or 20. No. In democracy, every person is equal, whether it is a prime minister, whether it is a celebrity, whether it is any XYZ, any poor rickshawala, any person who is casting their vote, that means should have one value. Now, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value, as I just stated. Have you all understood? Now the meaning of democracy, which is a government chosen by the people, where they are given fair chance to choose their representatives, and then these representatives on behalf of their public, on behalf of their people, they go and take various decisions which is of course in the favor of their state, their country. Now, democracy is not just a form of government but exactly also a way to life. You know how? Because it gives so much of freedom to everybody, where you can express your feelings, where you can put up your opinions. You are not controlled by any person, you are not controlled by any other government, any other politician. You have complete fair chance and an opportunity to cast your vote as whomsoever you would like to. As Jawaharlal Nehru said, democracy is good. I say because other systems are worse. So we do completely believe that democracy is the best form of government in the world, where we can say out of 192 countries in the world, 123 countries are existing with democracy. And automatically you can make out that almost 3/4 of the countries of the world are having democracy. That means there is exactly something good means something best in this government. Such a diverse culture as India possesses could only be preserved in a setup that is truly democracy. Since you all know India has a diverse condition, physically diverse, socially diverse, economically diverse, religiously diverse, and here in the second largest populated country of the world, it's very difficult to adjust and to make happy and to have all kinds of decisions, fair decisions where everybody should live happily. So keeping India's diverse culture possesses only be preserved in a setup of democracy. No other government can be existed in such a larger country of the world. Now, we do of course have various other forms of the government in the world like monarchy. Monarchy, where you can say it is completely the rule of the king, the queen, or an emperor. It generally passes the rule from the child, from the family to a child, the country from parent to child within their family. That means in that form of government, nobody else has the power to intervene in their rule, in their system. It is absolutely based on dictatorship. It is absolutely based on complete control over the people. Second is dictatorship. There is a slight difference between a dictatorship and a monarchy. If we talk about dictatorship, it is a rule of one person. Probably the person can be from army, maybe the person is having a lot of muscle power, maybe money power, and a person known as a dictator or an authoritarian party, or you can call a commander. Like if I talk about Pakistan, where we had in 1999, where we had General Pervez Musharraf as a dictator, and he ruled the country because he had a muscle power as well as he's from the military background who had a complete control. Children, remember one thing: if any person has two things in their life, one is muscle power and the other is money power, that means a person can completely rule over the country, and this is what Pervez Musharraf did in that during the year of 1999. Another party that is called one party rule, which has a single political party. It means no other political party has been given any chance to compete the election, or maybe other parties are participating, but due to playing dirty tricks, due to applying dirty methods and malnutritious practices, the country keeps winning and winning. This is exactly had happened in Mexico, Zimbabwe, where the complete control was under one party. Now let's move to a little further. Let's see how India, the world's largest democracy, since you all know India is the second largest country, the population wise, and of course the 7th place in the world as a area wise. Right now, if we talk about 132.42 billion population, we cannot work without any system to make the country successful, to make the country develop, to make the country run in the world. With 1 billion people, the Republic of India is the world's largest democracy, and a population nearly 4 times that of US have. India modeled its government on the British parliamentary system with a healthy dose of influences from the United States and the rest of Europe. Of course, you cannot say that India has adopted democracy absolutely only from UK or from US. No, India has so many features where has been adopted from the different parts of the country. Now, democracy is a system of living on the basis of course, certain social values. What does democracy give? Number one, it gives complete freedom. It gives equality. It gives fraternity. It gives social service, social justice. It gives fundamental rights and, of course, independence, judiciary. So you can say every person likes to fly in the world. Every person loves freedom. Everybody would like to have complete independence. If I ask you, you are being locked in a room from last 7 hours, and you are asked by your teacher, only to step out from the room once you cover 7 hours daily school life. Of course, you won't like, because here we have snatched the freedom of moving outside, freedom of asking questions, and we are just allowing maybe the monitor or maybe the certain group of students only to step out and have so and so and so. You definitely won't like it. That's why democracy is known as a system of living, because it not only gives freedom, it not only gives the independent judiciary, it always takes care of equality, fraternity, social justice, fundamental rights and all. Now, we have a question. Why democracy? Why democracy is also known as a better form of government? Let's see, we do have some of the features on the democracy. Why it is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. Number one, this is the government where everybody gets an opportunity to participate. To participate maybe as a contestant, as a election contestant, maybe as a participant to cast their vote, maybe as to give their opinion as a public of the country. So that means in totality, democracy gives complete opportunity to each and everybody. You cannot say that the people who are sitting in the parliament have complete right in the matter of taking all decisions. No. They have to consider what their public is demanding them, what is good for them, what works better for them. So they cannot take decision on the basis of what they want. They have to take care. They have been chosen by their public, by the people, and they have to decide that decision which works in the favor of their people. Number two, it shares responsibility. You must be knowing we do have vertical division power, we do have horizontal division power system, where not a single organ is the independent organ in the manner of taking any decisions on behalf of the country, state, or maybe on behalf of any other constituent unit. If we are living in a democracy, you have to divide the work equally, like as per the candidate's capability, as per the candidate's potential. You cannot discriminate that so and so person belongs to so and so caste, and that's why the person is not able to handle the work. You have to share absolutely fair in the manner of dividing the work and the responsibilities, etc. Next, opinions are expressed freely. Of course, if you are not satisfied with any government policy, you have complete right to express your opinion. And how would you express your opinion? Maybe by writing. These days you have social networking site. You may tweet, you may mail to the concerned person, you may write something in the newspaper as an article, you may have protest in the form of rallies, in the form of strikes, in the other forms, like where the violence does not take place, because once it reaches to the point of violence, that means you are guilty for breaking the law of the country. So you can express your opinion, but that has to be absolutely in a democratic way. Now, it gives respect the opinion of others, and that's, of course, you simply cannot criticize the other who is putting their opinion. You have to accept it fruitfully. You have to accept it humbly. You cannot say, no, that person does not belong to our party. That person belongs to the opposition, and we are not supposed to cater his or her opinion just because the person belongs to opposition, right? Next, it accepts the opinion of the majority. Of course, we should take care that if the majority is ruling, we cannot oppose. Ultimately, majority rule is the ultimate objective of the democracy. Since you know, earlier I also mentioned, it is the largest country of the world, democratic nation, okay, and you cannot say that, ma'am, this certain area is to be avoided because it is not participating in this and that. You have to take the decisions on the basis of majority. Next, ensures people's participation. Of course, when we talk about people's participation, we are talking about the people who have to cast their vote. We are talking about the people who are sitting in the state legislative assemblies, who are sitting in the parliament, who are the member of Lok Sabha, who are the member of Rajya Sabha. That means we are talking about the complete parliamentary system, where we have to ensure that if person is putting up, if the person is expressing their views, that means we have to accept it fruitfully and let the majority decide, let the ruling party decide what works better and what works really in the favor of people. Why people? Because ultimately it is the government chosen by people. Now, everyone waits for his or her turn. Of course, everyone waits for his or her turn. That means everyone has been provided perfect freedom, complete freedom, or the right to express his or her views wherever they find. Maybe that can be state legislative assembly, maybe that is parliament, maybe it is DM's office, maybe it is any other government office where a group of people is sitting together and discussing certain agendas about their city, about their town, about their state, about their country. Yes. Now, it is also known, I have a question, usually you find this question, why democracy is known as a representative democracy? Yes, India follows representative democracy. Number one, it is ruled by the representatives of the people, as we have just discussed. Existence of a definite representative mechanism. That means it is a system of government in which all eligible citizens vote on representatives to pass laws for them. For example, US, where we elect a president and a member of the Congress, and they have to take decision on behalf of the people. Next, periodic election. We do have a tenure of 5 years every time, where we have the complete elections process to be taken place. Since you all know 2019 is now the upcoming election year, where you can see now the news is absolutely full of upcoming 2019 election. So that means 5 years is a tenure of any election, of the election that has to be happen. That means it is giving a regular, like elections are happening at the regular interval. But there are conditions. One is general elections that takes place after every 5 years, and the other is by-election, which has to be happen in case of emergency happens, maybe the death of a leader, the death of a person who was positioned on that place, maybe an emergency declared, maybe that person has resigned. In that case, we have to have by-elections. Now, next is political parties compete for political authority. Yes, we do have this feature also in a democracy. We cannot say no to any political party to compete with the political authority. In totality, we do have certain number of political parties, 700 something, but out of that, Election Commission has registered only 7 political parties which have been given the complete chance of contesting elections after the regular interval of the election period. Now, next is existence of interest and pressure groups. You know, existence of interest and pressure groups, that means a group that does not put up candidates for elections but seeks to influence government, okay, policy or legislation. They are defined like interest groups, lobby groups and protesters groups. They don't have any direct role to play with the government, but in direct way they try to create pressure on the at present government, which is known as pressure groups. Next, practice for universal adult franchise. So, representative democracy states that as well, that it is absolutely based on the universal adult franchise. Let's see what universal adult franchise is. It ensures, our constitution ensures that universal adult franchise to all citizens, election to the Lok Sabha, state legislature and to the three-tier of Gram Panchayat were held on the basis of universal adult franchise. In India, every adult citizen, irrespective of caste, religion or sex, enjoys equal right to vote. The age of voting right earlier was 21 years, which has been changed to 18 years in the year 1988. After the 61st Amendment, it clears. Now, what is the role of the political parties in making democracy successful? Party, which is inevitable for the existence of a democracy. Without having a party system, we cannot do justice to our country. You know why? How can we choose our representative without having the help of political party? We do have to have political party because it represents ultimately the choice of people. It shows the fair competition for the political authority, and it gives everybody rights to contest election and to cast their vote to different political parties. If we don't have much of choice, that means the country is not working on the spirit of democracy. Political parties are the social factors that enlighten, represent and protect the people in a representative democracy. Now, what is the role of ruling and opposition parties in democracy? This is also one of the features where we can say that democracy does not have only the role of ruling party. Of course, it has the role of opposition party, which you can say works like a watchdog on the ruling party. It is a party or alliance of parties who get majority seats in election shall come into power. That party or alliance of parties who fail to attain majority of seats in the election are destined to perform the role of opposition. Since you all know, one party is a winning party and the other is losing party. Winning party, you know it well, it is known as ruling party, and the losing party is declared as a opposition party. Both of them work together in the matter like majority, the ruling party or the winning party's work is to look after the complete country. But the opposition party's role is also not less than anything. They keep a complete watch on the ruling party and bring the issues in the parliament, in the legislatures, that why has it been not done like this, why have you done like that, and they have to, the ruling party have to answer for all the opposition. In totality, you can say opposition works like a watchdog. It keeps popping up, it keeps criticizing the ruling party. That's it. Now, the important duties and the responsibilities of the opposition. Number one, to oppose the despotic tendencies. You know despotic tendencies? Despotic tendencies means to avoid a person to rule or to take his or her powers and try to overrule other people. That means despotic. कोई भी person, not a single person in the country should be overruled by providing lots many facilities, maybe by providing political power, maybe muscle power, maybe money power. So it works is to oppose the despotic tendencies of the ruling party. What do you think? Is our Prime Minister is not under a constant check? Is our President not under a constant check? Every person who is working as a government, in the government, for the government is under a constant check by the people. So here there is no chance of collecting power and misusing that power in any form. Next, to criticize the drawbacks in administration and expose them before the public. Yes, and if anybody gets a chance to criticize the drawbacks in the administration, what they do whenever the parliament session takes place, they do often criticize, they do often bring all those issues in the parliament session that has to criticize the ruling party. But you cannot deny why, because this is the work which is to be done by the opposition. Now, to oppose the misdeeds of the rulers and generate public opinion against them. Yes, if you are not satisfied with the government policy, you have complete right and generate your opinion against them. Now you are quite connected to the social networking sites, where you can, the moment you come across any policy, any rule which has been framed by the government, has been launched by in the government, if you are not satisfied, you can tweet on the social networking site, and immediately it keeps viral. It gets viral. Next is to evolve substitute policies and strategies in the real governments. Exactly. To evolve substitute policies, if one policy is not working, that means you should have your B policy ready to substitute that, and of course the strategies in the real of government. You cannot stick just to plan A. In case, due to any reason, if plan A is not successful, is a failure, then you should have your plan B ready and simultaneously plan C ready. One or the other plan has to be executed and definitely will bring good result. Next, to impart political enlightenment to the public. In this democratic government, it imparts political enlightenment. See, whenever we have elections, at that time we come across which political party has what agenda, which political party is working for the benefit of the people, or maybe there is one party which is definitely working on maybe the religious groups, maybe on the communal politics, maybe they are just working to keeping their people in their mind, maybe it belongs to certain religion and they're just working on that group of people. So that means that political party's agenda is not to bring the complete you can say not to bring the complete welfareism of the country. It is stick to only its group of people. So to impart political enlightenment to the public, that means all the political parties have to completely give the objective to the people, that what they are going to work for if they have been chosen, if they have been selected in this upcoming election. They have to give clear idea to the public on which factors are they going to work in the next 5 years, which is of course quite beneficial, would be quite beneficial for the country. The Election Commission, who has an important role, you can say it is the backbone of the country. Elections have great importance in a democratic setup. Election Commission is the agency to conduct independent and dispassionate election in India. The Election Commission shall consist of a Chief Election Commissioner, who is right now Om Prakash Rawal, and has many election commissioners as decided by the President of India from time to time. You know that Election Commission need not to work in the coordination, need not to take permission for any work which is related to election. It is a complete independent body of the government, who need not to seek permission for any kind of work that is related to election. They have to work independently. They have to take decisions independently, except certain matters like the date of the election. That also is not to be disclosed before to anyone. So they have to work as an independent and dispassionate election in India. It shall consist is an election commissioner and so many election commissioners as decided by the President of the country time to time. Thank you. We'll catch you all in the next class, where we are going to discuss so many things about the chapter we did today. Thank you, students.